Hello everyone, it's your friends from the Tarrant County Democratic Party. We're working very hard to turn Tarrant blue on Election Day. A lot of you have been asking, how do I do my part? Well, it's quite simple. Just remember 4 important things to do before Election Day. Number 1, register to vote. Go to registertexas.com and see if you're registered. If not, you can do so up until October 5th. The second thing you should do is get ready for early voting. You can vote early this year from October 13th to October 30th. Early voting will be critical this election. As you may know, Texas is now a swing state, and turnout will likely be unprecedented. We want to do everything we can to avoid large crowds on November 3rd. We need to make sure everyone can vote quickly and safely. When you enter the voting booth, remember step number 3. Don't stop at the top. This year, Republican elected officials have taken away straight ticket voting. Republicans making it harder to vote? Shocking, I know. Let's show them that these kinds of tactics won't work in Texas. Vote for every Democrat up and down the ballot. Don't stop at the top. When you're finished early voting, you can help us out with one last thing. Sign up to be an election worker. The more workers we have, the more polling places we can have open on Election Day. You can sign up at tarrantdemocrats.org. This is another important step that will make voting easier and safer. It's also a paying job. Help out your community and get paid. So remember, registertexas.com. Early voting. Don't stop at the top. And be an election worker. With your help, we can turn Tarrant and Texas blue.
Hi, this is Deb Peoples, your party chair, and tonight, what an amazing pre-debate party do we have planned for you. So tonight, as you all know, is historic because if you're like me, you're ready to see Senator Kamala Harris take down Vice President Mike Pence. And yes, it's going to happen. It's historic because this is the first time we've had a woman and a woman of color running for vice president of this great country. But so we decided that we needed to meet this occasion by having an extraordinary woman and a woman of color and a woman who is vice chair of our party to join us tonight. And so I am so pleased and excited to welcome the vice chair of the Texas Democratic Party, Dr. Carla Braley. How are you, Dr. Braley?
Deborah, I'm well because we're together. So I'm doing good. We have to do good because we have good work, good trouble.
That's right.
And finish. Yes.
Well, Dr. Braley, I know you're working hard all over Texas, but I want you to know that in Tarrant County, we have more than 100 folks that are joining us tonight, and it's probably a lot more than that through all of our channels because they want to hear from you about what more we can do in Tarrant County. But before we get there, I do want to tell you, this is the debate. Everybody's saying this is probably bigger than any presidential debate. So you are serving as vice chair of our party. So why don't you talk to us about what it means to have Kamala Harris in that position as running as VP and what you think we might be able to expect tonight?
Well, thank you, Soror, for that question. I know you serve as our chair of Tarrant County and just all the great work, not good work, the great work you're doing. So first, thank you for that. Second, it's nothing like being around a sister. I have sisters everywhere, but it's a special sense of our sisterhood with Delta. And so I want to just start. I'm going to start a little bit where what it means for me. What it means for us to serve in this moment. We're always rooting, number one, for the right person. We want to have the best leadership we can in the White House because unfortunately we know the whole world knows what it means to not have the appropriate, the proper, the ready, the right leadership in that house that has served so many of us throughout our years in the United States of America. So one, I say, I'm a graduate of Howard University. So it means the world to me to be selected by you all, everybody, Texans, to serve as vice chair at such a time as this. And so I really am grateful. I'm honored. I am a Black woman, a single mother of a 11-year-old Black daughter who, she's seeing this that's happening right now, that our soon to be president, Joe Biden, made the selection. He chose a woman, a Black, a Indian, woman to, I say, break the glass ceiling, Deborah, because we still have a long way to go before we can shatter it. But it means a lot that she was selected, a woman who's experienced, a woman who has solid expertise, a woman has constantly who have chosen to be on the side of people to have a fair shot, a woman who was bold enough and courageous enough to even run for president of the United States. And so you ask, what do I expect to see? I expect to see a ready woman tonight. I expect to see a woman who has been debating really, for a very long time, whether it's through a professional debate or I've had to debate to get in the room, and take a seat at the table. And when you take a seat at the table, to have a voice at the table, then to be heard at the table. This is what we do as women. And I think we're going to see that we're going to see a very right, ready woman this evening who is going to deal with issues that matter, that impact our lives, whether it's healthcare, whether it's economics, we're looking at debt, looking at housing. I think we're going to see all of that come in. And I think we're going to see her challenge the status quo and the leadership that has not served our people. And that's what you're going to see tonight. That's what you're going to hear.
I love it. So a ready woman, and that's what we want to see. And so, so I've gotten so many calls today and so many people who've been worried about COVID and the fact that Pence did not want to even have the barriers up tonight, and they pushed back against that. So talk to us a little bit about what you at the Texas Democratic Party are seeing. How do we keep our voters safe? How do we keep our election workers safe in this time of COVID?
Well, good question. I think one comes from you have to put people first. And I think that's what we're doing. People first means that you have to be creative. You got to be critical. If you have a plan, you have to reread that plan. You have to, be creative in terms of the tools, the equipment that is going to be there, how we are actually, recruiting volunteers, recruiting poll workers. So I think that it's just a matter of looking at what other counties are doing. The state has it. And I think much of what we experienced even through the primary, where they had the gloves, they even had masks available in certain counties. So I really think it's really thinking through, how do we put our best foot forward to make sure that we have the social distance. And I know for Democrats, it's just not up for discussion.
Yes.
We know that we do not have a vaccine for this virus. We know the impact that it can have individually. Sometimes we know that the impact, what it generally has, but none of us know how it can impact us individually. And I think that has been a part of planning. A lot of our agencies, including our election offices, are still working remotely. So really trying to keep the distance, but also to be prepared night and day to think through the plan of what do we do when we have long lines? How do we make sure people have water in the sacks? And for people out there wondering, what can you still do? You can still drop off water. You can still drop off snacks that people may have to, unfortunately, because of, governor policies, limiting polls, how that will, and as well as drop off, how that will impact the voters. So really just putting plans in place. And Deborah, I think everyone is talking about, that. And in community, people, grassroots leaders, grassroots people are just asking, what can I do to ensure that people are safe. I've even heard plans that is going forth in terms of transportation for those who don't feel safe. They want to be able to have some type of transportation. Different counties are doing different things. I know I want to have a call, even in Harris County. We talked about looking at transportation and just looking at if, you know, everything was there. But to my knowledge, Chris Hollins, as you probably have heard,
Yeah, I know.
people,
Yeah.
He is doing a phenomenal job of pushing, and pushing. And so, you know, change only happens through the demands of people, not asking, but just doing it. And so, you know, just pushing the boundaries there to make sure that people feel safe. But yeah, it's planning. It's planning.
But well, and so we're doing a lot here. We plan to have poll greeters outside some of our largest polls. As you know, we have countywide voting. So we're now getting people who are going to volunteer to be out there, to be cheerleaders, say, don't give up, stay in line. But you mentioned something, and you are from Harris County. So the governor's ruling last week, it feels like it was yesterday, where he limited drop-off points to just one place in a county. And so how has that impacted you all in Harris County? We always only had the one place because I'm the lone Democrat on the election board, and we lost that battle early on. So we had been preparing our folks to take theirs to the one location in the county. But you in Harris County, people had started dropping off their ballots. And so how did that impact you all?
Well, you know, that I know that they're still pushing for that to potentially be changed.
Yes.
But to my knowledge, you know, I don't deal directly with the planning of that. But to my knowledge, they're still pushing for the change. And then two, it's just really training workers and having dedicated people, experienced people that are going to be a part of that process. And so that makes a difference too. And luckily, I don't know, she's actually a SARA too, Deborah, Tanisha Hubsbith, who is the deputy there, who's actually running to serve she's a Democratic candidate for Harris County clerk. She's been there, 15 plus years. There are two other people that have been there well over 10 years. So really is having the expertise there that have, you know, they know the ins and outs, and that's what you have to plan to do. And I know a lot of the Senate districts are meeting to see how they can become better organized to be helpful. So everybody is just really trying to be creative, Deborah. Like nobody is counting out anything right now, and everybody is doing extra. And planning for extra. And we're just planning that, unfortunately, we may not have those results, you know, as soon as a lot of others may have it, which is unfortunate, because that also will impact our local candidates, as you know. But justice is on the ballot.
It's going to be a long night, and we have a very robust ballot here. But I will tell you, we're pretty excited here in Tarrant County. I think we are grateful to the state party, and so I want to thank you all for making Tarrant County a priority. You know, many times we felt like we were the little engine going up the hill, but we've gotten a lot of help this cycle, so we're pretty excited. But I will tell you, and this is as it should be. Early results of the ballots that have been turned back in are leaning Democratic. So, you know, we've got our fingers crossed. We just want to keep our folks mailing them back in. And so, you know, what you all did was brilliant. This last weekend, we got 50,000 voter registration cards from you. And when I tell you, Dr. Braley, that we got out 50,000 cards in one weekend. I mean, we were working. So I understand that the state is behind on processing that. Do you know anything about that? Or I know the party's real involved in trying to make sure that those registrations get processed.
Yes. So you know, Deborah, I believe in being honest. No, I don't know, but I can get back answers. I know that everybody is doing extra in groups, pushing but I don't have the answer to
Okay,
that.
no, and that's fine. That is fine. We just found out the other day that they had gotten some new machines in, but that's a question. People are calling every day saying, I registered to vote like 3 weeks ago. I haven't heard anything. What's going on? And when we call the county, they tell us that the state has it. So we're working on that. But the other thing that you talked about was on election day. And so I know that, Democrats are enthusiastic, but Republicans have been getting mean. We've been seeing, the Trump parades, those kinds of things. So I know that you all have a robust voter protection team in place. And so what would you tell folks that are going out to vote, if they see some Trumpers that are trying to intimidate them? What do you want them to do?
If you see something, say something. There are going to be numbers everywhere. Precinct chairs are going to be empowered to act upon decision-making, putting people, I won't say putting people out, but I'm going to say putting people out if they're not acting accordingly, because they are empowered to do so. That's one. And then two, there will be numbers everywhere posted from state representatives that are going to be pushing out. They're going to have people to the party. And you started off by saying we have a robust voter suppression team that we have not had in the past. So they're going to be everywhere. They have teams, they have volunteers. And it really is going to be for all of us to work together. And if you hear my dog in the background, Deborah, he's just telling everybody to bark for Biden.
That's right. So he's saying vote for Joe.
Barking for Biden. Even Brown, his name is Brownie. So Brownie is barking for Biden. And he's been on so many and been heard on so many of these Zoom calls. I got a feeling maybe he'll show up in one of the Biden commercials. Okay.
Well, Brownie. Yeah, Brownie would feel right at home at our office because we're pet friendly. So thank Brownie for all he is doing. So, but what other things do you want to tell us that we need to be doing? We want, we're working real hard with the state. We're going to be in lockstep. You all have done an extraordinary job of putting a coordinated campaign together. But our folks who are out there, I just got a text from somebody that says, what specifically can we do? And I answered her back and said, vote, but I'm going to let you answer it.
So I'm going to piggyback off of my sorority sister and say, yes, vote, not just vote, Deborah, but as Brownie is just barking, Brownie he's making an open for me. We have to vote like our lives depend on it. So which means that we get to a poll and for whatever reason they're saying we can't vote, or we get to a poll that's 20 minutes or a 2-hour wait, then guess what we have to do? We have to be prepared to wait. Get your backpack, fill it up with some goodies. We should make sure that snacks and water is there. But for whatever reason that someone forgot about your poll and they didn't have the goodies, get your own goodies and put your own goodies so you can create some good trouble and make sure that we change this nation. Because when we change Texas, Deborah, you know what's happening.
Oh, absolutely.
When we change Texas, we change the nation. So that's one. And I mean, that is a big one, that we vote like our lives depend on. Then, Deborah, it still deals with voting. Not only should we know when we are voting, where we're voting, how we're voting, who we're voting for, but we also need to know who we're voting with, because we win through mass voting. So you have to go and find 3 other people that you have never called and say, are you voting? I mean, we could no longer ask, are you registered? Because that is what it is at this point. But you can find out. Get 10 people on your list and say, you know what? It's 10 of us. If you have a huge family, on my mother's side, my maternal side, it's 15 of them. Okay. And all of them have children and then it's grandchildren. So know your family's vote plan. Everybody should be talking about voting. Number 2, all of us have, most of us, I should say, have some connection to social media. Every day post something. I don't care if it's 2 days to vote. And I don't care if you ask someone, how do you feel about voting? What's someone's vote story? What's your why story? Ask something. We just need to every day talk about voting, to the point if somebody says, I don't want to hear it another day, well, you won't have to hear it if you go to the polls and vote. You know that we're having early vote starts on October 13th. And
Yep.
I am charging everybody, go vote on the first day. Some people really do like to do mail-in ballots for various reasons. And then we're experiencing COVID. So the notion of safety and, just we want that to happen. Some people vote during early vote. I say go vote on an early day. I just want to tell people the importance of voting early and voting first. Number one, everybody has not taken Texas serious.
Yep.
So we want to send a message. That's number one. Number two, it's so helpful to candidates, Deborah. You've been on the ballot. I've been on the ballot. To know when people are voting those first days, you can kind of follow those votes.
Yes.
And so that's helpful. You can move your money around, you can move your people around so that you can do what you need to do to continue pushing out the vote. And that's what happens when you vote early. So you help candidates to move and, and switch their plans if they have to. And then third, so we got voting, we have social media. Third, we just have to, tell people, yes, don't focus on that we don't have straight ticket. I like what you all said. Don't stop at the top.
That's right.
So again, it's still tied to voting. When you go to vote, go with lots of patience. Patience is what? Virtue.
Good.
So be virtuous when you go vote. Be a virtuous voter. Go in and you don't stop at the top. You vote from the top to the bottom because justice is on the ballot. And Deborah, we have great candidates. I mean,
yes.
Sometimes you could just have people that are running. No, we have qualified, we have experience, we have people that are standing on the side of justice, that for people to have a fair shot. And so we don't really have an excuse, and so really, my three all still connect to vote, vote, vote. And then next, well, I already know I'm voting. I know my 10 people. I do the social media. Well, many of us may have an extra dollar or two. All of our budgets have been impacted, Deborah. So there are some people that I'm not even asking because they still, even though I say don't feel pressured, they still will. So for those of us who have a little extra, Deborah, whether it's $1, whether it's $100, whether it's $1,000, give a little bit. Find a local campaign to give a little bit to. Because as you know, $2 will buy a sign.
Yes, it
okay. Will. $2 will help, you get some more texting out. So nothing is too small. Nothing is too small. Then your talent can turn into, to being a volunteer.
Wow.
It's always something to do in a campaign. Deborah, you can have a call. You can have a great day of calls.
Yes.
You can have a great day of getting signs out. And then you get that call and say, well, I didn't get my sign. And you know what? But if you have volunteers, you can say, hey, you can send out a text after being tired all day from a candidate. Hey, can you go deliver this sign? Because you want people to be happy in this process.
That's right.
And so you got your talent, you got your treasure, and that's your time. And hey, Deborah, we got to work like our lives depend on. So we working with no stopping here.
That's right.
So I know you asked me a question. I could be finished with my response, but it's just so much that we can do. But if we just do those things, I think we may be okay in Texas.
So, Dr. Braley, I love you because you told everybody, number one, be prepared to wait. I mean, if you have to take your own snacks, take a backpack, take some water, take some snacks, because we have to vote like our lives depend on it. And then I loved what you said, it's who you vote with. Don't just say, I'm going to go vote on the start of early voting, but I'm going to take people with me. I mean, I love it. I love doing social media. Now, for those who know me on this call, they know I'm a social media person. I tweet. I'm like Trump. I tweet. I go on Facebook because I do think it's important. I have 5,000 friends and not everybody's going to respond, but I do this every day. And you're right. People don't understand. $5, $2. You're right. We have to learn to start the art of giving. So guys, you heard it from our very own vice chair of the Texas Democratic Party, how we're going to win this. And so Dr. Braley, please know that we in Tarrant County are committed to delivering Tarrant County to the Democratic side. And so we have extraordinary candidates running. And so just so you know, we have several deltas that are running. But now I'm going to turn it back over to our own Heather Gwynn, because Dr. Braley, I think it's 7:30 and there are folks on here who want to play a trivia game. And so Heather, welcome back. Thank you so much, Dr. Braley. You're amazing.
Thank you. I do have a request for one of y'all. Really quickly, and I know there might be feedback. So this is supposed to be a pep rally. So I know that both of y'all, you know, from your perspective, sororities have roll call. If you don't mind, if you don't mind doing a roll call, because you know, this is a pep rally. We've got to get it started. You know, for Senator Harris. So who wants to go first?
Okay, so, you know, I'm old school, but let me just tell you, in my sorority, we go, ooh, ooh. To Braley's, okay. So can we get it going on? And let me just tell you, now my AKA sisters may kill me, but my best friend is the AKA, and they go, ski.
Deborah, you have gone far. You have gone far.
So, but we're going to celebrate tonight and we're going to get it started. And so, Dr. Brady, we do. All of our signs at the party headquarters say, don't stop at the top, vote for every Democrat. And for people who keep calling the office, they want to know, will I know who's a Democrat? Absolutely. On your sample ballot, it will tell you there's a legend. REP means Republican. DEM is Democrat. So you will go down your ballot and you're going to mark every name that has a DEM beside it. And when you do that, we're going to change not only the face of the courts from the Supreme Court all the way down to the local county courts. We're going to elect constables. We're going to win the Texas House because we're going to deliver 5 of those 9 races or more out of Tarrant County. We're going to elect a new county commissioner. We're going to elect another senator, a state senator. Tarrant County is going to be in that roll call when we start to party. Okay, so Heather, take it away.
Yes, we're going to challenge you. Thank you so much. So what we're going to do is play Kahoot. That'll be coming up in a minute.
And Dr. Braley, just so you know, they don't let me play because I can't win a prize. So they told me I don't get to win a prize. So I am not. So everybody, if you'll look there, there's our card, the push card. So our new push cards came in 2 days ago. They say, Democrats, when we vote, we win. If you're a precinct chair, you should have gotten your email to come by and get your push cards for your precinct and the cards from the Texas Democratic Party to make a plan to vote. They're going fast. And so some people are getting the email. So please come and get them. And then Dr. Braley, we have a very robust group of ministers that are planning souls to the polls. So you better get in there and get your cards fast. So, okay, Heather, I'm quiet again. Okay.
And can I tell everybody about our Winning Women Texas 2020 Day Party?
Okay, go ahead, because this will be in the background. So.
Oh, okay. Well, just show up. We're having a Women Winning Texas 2020 Pep Rally Day Party, whatever you want to call it. We will be there on Saturday at 11 o'clock. And Deborah, we're going to have a part 1 and we're going to have a part 2. We're going to be joining with the state campaign, fighting campaign. And I do want you to be a part of it. I was telling you all, your chair, I called her earlier because I want her to be a part of it. So I'm sure that you all can get something sent out by that, but I did want to let everyone know. It starts at 11 o'clock on Saturday.
Oh, we like parties. Let me tell you, we party, and COVID doesn't stop us from partying. We party hard. So okay.
But Deborah, we gonna party. I said, ain't no party like a Democratic Party, because a Democratic Party don't
stop.
We gonna have a part one, and we're gonna have a part two, because we'll never get this Saturday back before early vote. So we want to do that rally to the poll. And then on the 17th, we'll follow up to make sure that we celebrate those who are already voted. And then we'll continue to push people to commit to still do early voting.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. And then Dr. Brayley, you can just send us through email the event information, and then we'll make sure that we send it on out to everybody.
Heather,
All right,
I have
thank you
it.
so
I'm
much.
sending it to you right now.